The deep void of space was calm when the sensors of the Galactic Union picked up something strange. A single ship had entered a restricted sector near the Arconian border. It was human. That alone made the Council uneasy. Humans were not a major power in the galaxy. They had joined the Union only 50 years ago. Most aliens thought of them as brave but reckless. Their home planet, Earth, was far from the center of power. They had few colonies and even fewer warships. So when a large human ship entered a forbidden zone, the Union leaders paid close attention. Inside the Grand Assembly Hall of the Union, lights flickered as leaders of many species gathered. Tall, thin beings from Zar Prime, the stone-skinned, warlords of Drelok, and the cold-eyed Arconians, all sat at the long table. The air was tense. "Why is there only one ship?" asked the Arconian High Marshal, his voice low and sharp. His name was Varix, and he had commanded the fleet that destroyed a human colony years ago. He remembered the humans, but he did not fear them. The Talari ambassador, a smaller grey-skinned being with wide eyes, looked nervous. "Perhaps they are lost. Or maybe it is a test, or a message," said Varix. The ship was huge. It was larger than most Union battleships. But still, it came alone. No escort, no fleet. Some in the council laughed. "This is typical human behavior," said a Drellic general. "Bold, but foolish." But others did not laugh. Some watched the ship's slow approach with growing worry. The ship did not answer any calls. It stayed silent as it moved closer to Arconian space. A Union officer named Lena, a human working with the Talari, looked at the data on her screen. Her fingers shook a little. "This ship is unlike any we have seen before. Its energy core is ... different." "Different how?" asked Varix. "It is stronger, much stronger. It could power 10 cruisers." The room went quiet. Back on the ship, named Solace, Captain Laura Mitchell stood on the command deck. She looked calm. She had short brown hair and sharp eyes. Her crew stood ready around her. Carter, the weapons officer, leaned over his console. He had once served on a colony defense team. Nora, the systems expert, watched rows of data flash. Greg, the gunnery chief, stood near the main display, quiet but alert. "No response from the Union yet," Nora said. "They are watching," Laura replied. "Let them." She turned to the main screen, where the stars shone bright. She remembered the past 10 years ago. The human colony on Elysian Ridge had sent a call for help. Arconians had attacked without warning. The message had never reached Earth in time. By the time help arrived, the colony was gone. Every building destroyed, every person dead. That day had changed everything. Earth had stopped trusting the Union. They began to build something new, something powerful. One ship, one message. Solace had taken 10 years to build. It carried no other ships. It needed none. "We are in position," Greg said. Laura nodded. "Then let them know." The ship sent a single message to the Union. The words were simple. "We are here for the reckoning." The message reached the council, and the room exploded with noise. Some shouted for defense. Others called for talks. Varix stood with a cold smile. "They want revenge," he said. "Let them come." He ordered the Arconian fleet to move. 30 cruisers and 1 dreadnought moved toward the human ship. They outnumbered it by far. Union cameras followed every move. From hidden platforms, scientists and officers watched. The human ship stayed still. "Why don't they retreat?" someone asked. "Maybe they can't," said another. But Lena shook her head. "No, They are waiting. Captain Laura watched the enemy ships approach. Her face did not change. She turned to Carter. Target the lead cruiser. Load kinetic strike. Carter pressed a button. A long black projectile launched silently from the ship. It moved fast. Very fast. Seconds later, the Arconian cruiser vanished from the screen. The weapon had torn through it like paper. Gasps came from the Union watchers. What was that? Someone whispered. A warning, Lena said. On board Solace, the crew stayed silent. Greg checked his systems. Nora monitored enemy signals. Laura watched the enemy ships stop in fear. We gave them a chance, she said. Now we finish what they started. As the rest of the Arconian fleet tried to regroup, Solace moved forward. The battle had begun, and the galaxy would never forget what happened next. Asterisk, the wreckage of the Arconian cruiser drifted in space, broken and silent. The rest of the Arconian fleet stopped moving. The human ship, Solace, remained still. It did not run. It did not hide. It waited in the command room of the Arconian dreadnought. Captain Serax stared at the screen. His claws tapped the side of his chair. He had fought many battles. He had never seen a single strike do that much damage. He felt something new doubt. Bring the fleet into formation, he ordered. Surround them. Overwhelm them. On Solace, Captain Laura Mitchell watched the enemy ships move again. She stood tall, her eyes calm. She had trained for this moment for many years. Every second had led to this dot. Carter spoke first. They are coming back. All ships are in attack. Mode, good, Laura said. Let them come. Nora looked up from her screen. Their dreadnought is sending out jamming waves. They are trying to block our systems. We knew they would, said Laura. Greg, are we ready? Greg smiled a little. Always. Solace moved forward. Its engines burned bright as it cut through the dark. The Arconian ships opened fire. Red and blue beams lit up space. Missiles streaked through the black, but nothing hit. Solace moved fast, faster than the enemy expected. It weaved through the fire, untouched. Inside the ship, the crew worked like one mind. Carter fired the side cannons. Twin blasts struck two smaller cruisers. They exploded in bright light. Greg launched drone mines that floated into the path of enemy ships. When a destroyer came close, the mines lit up and tore its hull apart. Nora hacked into the enemy systems. Her fingers moved quickly. I have control of one of their sensor hubs. Sending false data. They won't know where we are. Perfect, said Laura. Focus on the dreadnought. The dreadnought was the largest ship in the fleet. It was slow but strong. Its armor could take many hits. Its weapons could destroy cities. But it had one weakness. It was not ready for Solace. Laura gave the order, fire main cannon. The ship charged its main gun. A deep sound hummed through the ship. The beam fired. It hit the dreadnought in the center. The energy blast broke through layers of armor. The dreadnought shook. Captain Serax held on to his chair as the floor trembled. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Return fire. All weapons. Missiles shot toward Solace, but Greg was ready. Defense systems activated. Lasers shot them down before they got close. Carter sent a spread of plasma rounds that hit two more. Enemy ships. The Arconian fleet was in trouble. On one of the Union's hidden stations, leaders watched in silence. The humans were doing the impossible. One ship alone was beating a whole fleet. This is not possible, said Azar Prime Commander. It is happening, Lena said softly. We didn't listen to them. We didn't believe them. Now we see. More cruisers were destroyed. The battlefield was full of fire and metal. The dreadnought tried to retreat, but Solace followed. Inside Solace, Nora gave an update. We are inside their system codes. We can shut down their engines. Do it, Laura said. Nora hit the keys. The dreadnought stopped moving. Its lights flickered. It was dead in space. Greg looked at Laura. Finish it. Laura paused. She remembered the video from Elysian Ridge. Families running, children crying, the sound of fire and screams. Yes, she said. The main gun fired again. The beam hit the dreadnought's core. The ship exploded in a wave of light. The shock wave pushed wreckage into space. The rest of the fleet turned and ran. They had never seen anything like this. One ship had done all this. Solace did not follow. It stayed still. Victory was already clear. On board, the crew was quiet. Carter leaned back. We did it. It's not over, Laura said. This is only the beginning. A message was sent to the Union. It showed images of the battle. It also showed the truth of what happened at Elysian Ridge. The files had names, faces, and logs. Everything the had hidden. The message ended with Laura's voice. We did not come for war. We came for justice. One ship was enough. The message spread fast. Across planets and stations, people watched. Some were shocked. Some were afraid. Some were glad. The humans had shown their strength. On a station near the Union capital, a young alien officer watched the message. She turned to her commander. What do we do now? The commander did not answer. He had no words. The galaxy had changed. One ship had made sure of that. News of the battle spread fast. Every major world in the galaxy received the footage. The image of the human ship, Solace, destroying the Arconian fleet, shocked billions. Most had believed humans were weak. Now they knew the truth in the main. Whole of the Galactic Union, leaders argued loudly. Some shouted about safety. Others asked how this had happened. A few called for peace talks. But many were afraid. The humans had done what no one thought possible. The Arconian representative stood in silence. His name was Drax. His face was hard, but his eyes showed worry. He had not expected defeat. Now his empire was in danger. One ship, said the Drello. Leader, they sent just one ship, and they won. Lena, the human officer in the hall, stood and spoke. Solace is not just a ship, it is a message. Humans remember what was done to them, and they will not forget. Back on Earth, people watched. The news, in cities and stations, humans stood together. They did not cheer, they did not dance. They remembered Elysian Ridge. They remembered the lost ones. Solace had spoken for them. In a hidden lab, deep under Earth's surface, engineers and scientists worked on another project. The room was quiet, full of screens and glowing panels. A man named Owen, the lead scientist, spoke with a calm voice. Solace did well, he said. Now we prepare the others. Beside him, a young woman named Riley nodded. Are we sure the galaxy will not strike back? They might, Owen said, but we will be ready. Solace floated in space near the edge of Arconian. Territory, repairs were small. The ship had taken little damage. Its design was perfect. Inside, the crew was quiet. Captain Laura Mitchell stood in her quarters, reading reports. She looked tired but strong. Her mind stayed on what came next. Carter entered with a datapad. We've picked up chatter. Union ships are moving, not toward us, they're fighting each other. Laura took the pad. She read the message. The Union is breaking apart. Some don't want war, some want revenge. Greg joined them. We caused a fracture. No, Laura said. We showed the truth. In a station far from the core worlds, a group of alien leaders met in secret. They were from smaller species. They had suffered under Union rule. They watched the footage again. The humans fought alone, said a thin, tall being named Vero. They had no help. And they won, said a short one with yellow skin. Maybe it is time for change, Vero said. A new message from Earth was sent across the stars. It showed the names of the dead from Elysian Ridge. It asked a simple question. What would you do if this happened to your world? The message was powerful. On many planets, people began to question the Union. Protests started. Some leaders refused to send ships. Others asked for talks with Earth. In a large shipyard near Mars, workers built more ships. They followed the design of Solace, but each had a new purpose. Some were made for defense, others for support. Earth was not building an army. They were building a shield. Back on Solace, Nora found something strange. She called Laura to the command deck. We picked up a message. It's hidden deep. Not Union, not Arconian. Something else. Play it, Laura said. A voice came through the speakers. It was low and rough. The language was old. The words were clear. You are strong. You have made the galaxy notice. Now others will come. Be ready. Greg looked at Nora. Who was that? Nora shook her head. Unknown. The signal came from the dark zone. No maps go there. Laura stood still. She felt the weight of the moment. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we have new watchers. And tell them to keep building. The galaxy had seen what Solace could do. But now, something else had seen it too, and it was coming. Astris, Captain Laura, stood on the bridge of Solace. The crew moved quietly around her. No one celebrated. The ship was still in enemy space. The battle was won, but the war was not over. Greg checked his systems. The wreckage field is clear. No enemy ships in range. Nora looked up. We are getting hundreds of messages, some from Union worlds, some from independent systems. They want to talk. Laura nodded. Record and store everything. We'll sort them later. Carter turned. One of the signals is different. It's from an old relay network, not used by the Union anymore. Can you trace it? Laura asked. Yes, but it's coming from deep space, past the dark line. No known systems out there. Laura thought for a moment. Flag it. We'll deal with it after resupply. Back on Earth, leaders from many nations met in an underground base. A large screen showed the latest data from Solace. The room was quiet. A man in a dark suit stood. His name was Clark. He worked for Earth's Defense Command. We have entered a new age, he said. Solace has done what we asked, but now we must prepare for the next step. A general spoke. You mean war with the Union? Clark shook his head. Not just the Union, others will come. Those who hid while we suffered. Those who profited while we rebuilt. They will not sit still. In a hidden part of Union space, a group of ships met in silence. Their leaders spoke in private. Some wore the uniforms of old empires. Some were criminals turned lords. They all had one thing in common: fear. If Earth rises, we fall, said one. The humans won with one ship, said another. What happens when they send 10? They agreed to form a secret alliance. They called it the Circle. Their goal was clear: stop the humans before they became unstoppable. Back on Solace, Nora found something new. She stared at her screen. Lines of code moved fast. "Captain, we have a security breach. Not local. Someone is watching us." Laura walked over. "From where?" "Unknown. It's not Union, not Arconian. The signal is strange. It's like it's scanning us." Greg frowned. "Could it be a probe?" "No," Nora said. "It's smarter. It's reading our systems, but also ... learning." Laura looked at the screen. "Cut the connection now." Nora hit a switch. The screen went dark. "We've been marked," Laura said. "Someone else out there just saw what we did, and they're curious." Back in Union space, protests broke out. On many planets, people held signs. Some demanded peace. Others praised Earth. Many wanted the truth about Elysian Ridge. The Union Council met again. This time, they were divided. Some leaders blamed the Arconians. Some blamed the humans. Some wanted to leave the Union. Lena, the human officer who had watched the battle from a station, spoke in the hall. This was never about control. It was about justice. And now that justice has a name, Solace, a new vote began. Planets would choose: stay in the Union or stand with Earth. The map of the galaxy started to change. Captain Laura sent a message to Earth. "Enemy fleet destroyed. Union. In chaos, unknown signal detected. We will remain on station until further orders." Clark read the message and turned to his team. "Send the next ship." Solace was our voice. Now we send our eyes. A second ship launched from the moon base. Its name was Watcher. It carried new tools, deep scanners, and stealth tech. Its mission was clear: find what else was out there. Solace stayed near the Arconian border. The stars were quiet, but the crew stayed alert. Carter sat beside Greg in the mess room. "You ever think about what comes next?" Greg nodded. "Every day. But we don't stop. We keep moving, because someone has to." Laura stood in her quarters, looking at the stars. She remembered the people lost, the lives forgotten. Now the galaxy was starting to listen, but something else was listening too, and it was coming closer. The stars were quiet, but the silence did not last. A strange signal passed through many systems. It did not come from the Union. It did not come from Earth. It came from the edge of the galaxy, beyond known space. On Solace, Nora picked it up. First, she sat alone in the control room, watching the data stream. "Captain," she said over the com, "the signal is back. It's stronger now." Laura came at once. Greg and Carter followed. The crew stood around Nora's screen. "Can we read it?" Laura asked. "Not fully," Nora replied. "It's not a language we know, but some parts are like warnings, and some ... sound like questions." Greg leaned closer. "They're asking about us." Carter looked uneasy. "Then they saw what we did." Laura nodded. "They saw, and now they want to meet." Back on Earth, the second ship, Watcher, moved quietly through space. It was faster and smaller than Solace. It carried no weapons, only sensors and scanners. Inside Watcher, the crew searched for the source of the signal. A young pilot named Ray flew the ship with care. The science officer, Dana, watched her screen. "We're getting closer," Dana said. "The signal is pulling us like a thread." Ray frowned. Let's hope we like what's at the end. Meanwhile, in Union space, more planets left the Council. The Arconians were silent. Their fleets had gone quiet. Some said they were rebuilding. Others said they were hiding. Lena, still working on a Union station, sent a message to Earth. She had seen enough. She wanted to help. Clark received the message. He smiled. We are not alone anymore. Back on Solace, something new happened. A ship appeared. It did not come from a gate. It did not use normal engines. One moment, the space was empty. The next, the ship was there. Greg stared at the screen. It just blinked in. Nora looked at the readings. No known design, no heat, no power trace. It's like it's not real. Laura stood still. The ship was large, shaped like a curved blade. It had no windows, no lights, only dark metal and strange marks on its hull. A message came through, not in sound, but as thoughts. It entered their minds. You showed your strength. You showed your reason. Now we decide. The crew felt the words, not with ears but deep inside. Greg held his head. Carter stepped back. Nora held onto her console. Laura closed her eyes. She saw flashes of stars, old battles, forgotten races, and lost worlds. Then it was gone. They're testing us, she said. The ship moved closer. Then it stopped. A small orb left its side and floated toward Solace. Should we shoot it? Carter asked. No, Laura said. Let it come. The orb entered through the main dock. It hovered in the air. A soft light came from it. Then it spoke. You carry pain. You carry justice. You carry balance. We have watched. We have waited. Who are you? Laura asked. We are the ones before. We are not here to rule. We are here to guide. Many times we have ended those who bring death. Many times we have turned away. But now we watch you. Why now? Laura said. Because you changed the song of the stars. The orb flashed once, then it faded. It left no trace. The strange ship vanished just as it came. On Watcher, Dana felt it too. The crew saw nothing, but they felt the message. It was the same back on Earth. Clark stood before the Council. The galaxy is not what we thought. We are not just a new power. We are now part of a larger path. Others are watching. Some may help. Others may not, but we will not hide. Watcher returned with data. Solace returned to a friendly port. Repairs were done. The crew rested. Laura walked through the halls of the ship. She saw the tired faces of her team. Carter, Nora, Greg. They had done their part. They had changed the galaxy. She sent one last message to the Union. Earth does not want war, but Earth will not run. We remember the lost. We protect the living. If you stand for peace, join us. If not, we are ready. The message spread far. Some worlds joined Earth. Some remained silent. Others vanished from contact. In the dark places beyond the map, ships moved, lights blinked. Old powers woke, but Earth stood tall. One ship had been enough to start a change. More would follow, and stars would never be the same again. Captain Laura stood near the window of the Solace. The stars outside were bright and calm, but her mind was not. She had seen too much. She had heard the voice of something greater, and now she had to prepare for what was coming next. Greg entered the room. We received new orders from Earth. Laura turned. What kind of orders? They want us to travel beyond the old charts. past the last Union beacon. They want to know what's out there. Laura looked back at the stars. So they're sending us into the dark. Yes, Greg said. And we leave in 12 hours. In the command room, Nora was checking the systems. She had updated the ship's defenses. Carter was checking the weapons. They both knew this mission would be different. The last time, they fought the Union. This time, they didn't know what they would face. On Earth, Clark met with the leaders. A large map of the galaxy was shown on a screen. A red circle marked the known space. Beyond that was black. We have seen only a small part of the galaxy, Clark said. Now we must see the rest. A woman from the council asked, "What if we find something we should not?" Clark answered, "Then we face it. But we cannot look away. Not anymore." Back on Solace, the crew prepared. Supplies were loaded. New tech was added. The mood was quiet, but strong. Nora walked with Laura down a long hall. "Do you think they're still watching us?" Laura nodded. "I do, and I think they want to see how far we will go." The ship left orbit and entered the deep void. Days passed in silence. Then they reached a strange zone. The stars looked dim. Space itself felt heavier. Carter looked at his screen. No signals, no light, nothing. "That's not right," Nora said. "Something's here, but it's hidden." Suddenly, the ship shook. A wave passed through it. Lights dimmed for a second. "Report," Laura said. Greg answered, "We were scanned. Something is watching us. Can you find it?" Laura asked. "No, it's like it's everywhere and nowhere." Then a voice came. It was not loud. It was not soft. It was inside their minds. "Why do you come so far from home?" Laura stood still. "We came to learn. We came to understand. We came to see." The voice returned. "Many come to take. Few come to listen." "What are you?" Laura looked at her crew. Then she spoke. "We are human. We remember pain. We remember loss. But we also remember hope." The voice was silent. Then the stars changed. A planet appeared where nothing was before. Green lights covered it. The ship moved toward it without command. "Should we stop it?" Carter asked. "No," Laura said. "Let's see where it takes us." The ship landed gently on a wide plain. The air was clean. The sky was deep blue. The crew stepped. Outside, they walked on soft ground. Strange trees moved slowly as if breathing. Lights floated in the air. Everything was quiet. Then figures came, tall, glowing beings. They did not speak with mouths, but with thoughts. "We are the Watchers," one said. "We saw your ship. We saw your fire. Now we see your heart." Laura stepped forward. "We do not seek power. We seek truth. Truth is not given. It is earned," the being said. "You have earned our time." The beings showed them visions. Old battles, lost races, fights that had shaped the stars. They spoke of a great danger that once burned the galaxy. "It sleeps now," the being said, "but one day it will wake, and when it does, it will not come for land or gold. It will come for life." Laura asked, "Can it be stopped?" "Only if many stand together, and only if they are ready." The visions faded. The beings stepped back. "You will leave now, but you will remember, and when the time comes, you will not be alone." Back on the ship, the crew returned to their stations. The ship rose from the planet and moved into space. Nora looked at Laura. "What do we do now?" Laura answered. We return home. We carry the warning. We prepare. As the stars stretched ahead, Solace moved forward once again, not to fight, not to conquer, but to lead. The galaxy was vast. The future was uncertain. But the humans were no longer walking in darkness. They were a light others could follow.